Hello everyone, this is Santiago Danda, application engineer at Rexgear, and today we're going to be doing a small introduction about the IT6000C instrument. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the front panel, the 4 different menus, system, configuration, function, and protection menu of the instrument. If you have any other questions, software related, please visit the link in the video description down below. First, let's take a look at the front panel. Here on the left side, we have the turn off or on switch with the screen and the USB port. This USB port is used to update the firmware of the instrument. Here on the left side, we have all the buttons in the control. We have the numpad, the turning knob, and all the functions buttons. Now let's take a look at the system menu. To go into the system menu, first click the shift button and then the preset button. Here you can see we're already on the system menu. The first option is the beep function. Here you can set if you want the instrument to beep or not each time you move. For example, here I'm going to turn it on, and as you can hear, the instrument is now beeping. For video purposes, I'm going to turn it off. The next option is the power on. This option means that when the instrument powers on, which settings do you want to load? If you want the settings to reset, to start from the last operation, or from the last off operation. Here I'm going to set it as reset. Third option is the sense option. This instrument has a remote sense functionality that it automatically senses the output. But if you want to do it manually, you can turn this thing on, and you're going to have to set the sense vsense plus and minus to the output terminals to sense manually the output. Fourth option is the list of the trigger source. Here you can add the trigger source from manual, bus, or external. Then you can also edit the log of the trigger. In the sixth function, it's the I/O menu. Here you can set up the communication, either through USB, LAN, or CAN communication. Here, for example, we're using LAN, and you have the choice of either seeing the information, configuring the IP, restoring the server, or resetting the entire configuration. The seventh option is a parallel. This is really important because if you're using just one unit, you have to set it as single. But if you're using this unit as master and various slaves, you have to set it up as master with the total number of units in your setup. Or if you're using another master unit with this one being a slave, just set it up as slave. Eighth option is the digital port. Here you can set up each port depending on what you want the digital port to function as. For more information on each port, please refer to the user manual. The system reset is to reset the configuration settings of the entire instrument. The next option is to indicate the instrument either to zero the voltage once the output has turned off or on. And the last option is the system information. Here you can view all the information about your instrument. For example, the model, the serial number, the main version of the firmware, control version, voltage maximum, current maximum, and power maximum, as well as resistance. You can also see the runtime and the boot update info. With that, it concludes the system menu explanation. Now let's take a look at the configuration menu. To access the config menu, just click the shift button and the vset. Once in the config menu, you can see the first option. It's the mode. This instrument has the capability of having constant voltage or constant current. Second option is the voltage rise time. Here you can set up the time at which the voltage will rise to its peak, as well as the fall, and the same thing with the output resistance. You can also set up an on delay or an off delay. Here is the next option, the voltage maximum. For example, this instrument can output 80 volts, but here we can set it up as a voltage maximum of 50. And that would conclude the configuration menu. Now let's take a closer look at the function menu. To access the function menu, just click Shift and the I set. Here on the menu, you can see there's 5 different settings. First is the list. You can edit the list by doing different steps like voltage 10, voltage 15, voltage 20, and then run it. And it will continuously run that list. You can edit, open, or export this list. Next is the battery. Here you can charge or discharge a battery. For example, let me edit. Here on the edit part of the menu, you can charge or discharge. You edit the voltage and the current requirements. Next is for road vehicles. This instrument comes with different standards to test road vehicles. As you can see, we have various standards. Next, we have the solar array simulator. Here you can edit and input the requirements to simulate a solar array. Next, we have the battery emulator. This instrument can act as a battery for your testing needs. And this would conclude the function menu. Now let's take a closer look at the Protect menu. To go into the Protection menu, you just click Shift and Recall button. Once in the Protection menu, you can see the different settings. First, we have the over voltage protection, and you can turn it on and set the voltage at which you want to protect the instrument. Next, we have the over current protection, same as the over voltage protection, but just working with current. We also have the over power protection, and as well under current and under voltage protection. These protections work simultaneously within the instrument and make physical disconnections once the threshold is met. And with this, we conclude the protection menu. That would conclude the brief overview of the IT6000C instrument. If you have more questions about software-related issues, please refer to the link in the video description down below. Thank you.